Hello, friends. I welcome you all to this one more interview topper session. In this session, I take immense pride to introduce a student who was a student of EduTap few years or few months before this moment, but now he is a officer of NABARD grade, a prestigious institute. So, in few years, maybe in some decades, you would be seeing Mr. Shantanu helping the important policy affairs at the NABARD. So, I take immense pride to welcome you. Welcome, Mr. Shantanu.
Thank you so much, sir. And I
Okay.
would also like to thank EduTap for giving this
Okay.
opportunity.
Okay,
Yeah.
we appreciate that. So tell me, how's the feeling? Has it sunk in of having made it?
Yes, sir. Actually,
Hmm.
it feels nice that you work towards something and finally luck also helps you in the way because I can
Okay.
say that some
Hmm.
of my friends also were in the interview stage,
Hmm.
but they were not able to make the final cut. So yeah,
Okay.
I am happy and at the same time relieved as well.
Okay. So Shantanu, we'll let our viewers know about your background. So kindly elaborate about your background. What was your background? Uh,
Sure, sir.
hmm.
So I did my graduation from computer science in NIT Nagpur.
Okay.
I graduated in 2020.
Okay.
Post that, I decided to prepare for UPSC
Okay.
and I gave one attempt, but I could not clear the prelim stage,
Okay. Okay.
which is when the trigger happened that
Hmm.
I realized that UPSC is quite uncertain. So I
Hmm.
need to take some smart decisions. So I decided to prepare for regulatory body exams like RBI and NABARD.
Okay.
And I gave a NABARD in the last year as well. I reached the interview stage, but
Okay.
could not make the final cut.
Hmm.
I gave two prelims in RBI as well, but I was
Hmm.
not able to clear the prelims itself.
Okay.
And this time I was able to
Okay.
clear it.
We congratulate you again. So, Shantanu, were you a working aspirant or full time devoted aspirant?
So I got a campus placement in my college, but I worked there for only a week or so when I
Okay,
decided to prepare for UPSC. So I am a full-time aspirant.
okay, I see. See, there are very important learnings that I take from your journey, Shantanu. That first of all, see, people who are into UPSC preparation, they are completely and solely determined on clearing UPSC only.
Yes.
We are not getting into whether it is good or bad. So
Yeah.
you made a smart decision that you will move on to other exams as well in the meantime and clear that. And you made very smart and quick right decision, but also you made quick decision. Like people will make right decisions after a long period of time, maybe 5 6 years down the line, but you made that smart decision in a very quick time. Like you chose the IT stream of NABARD, not the generalist stream, and also moving from UPSC to other regulatory bodies. So I believe there must be someone who might have guided you in this entire process. Or what was the thought process during this entire conundrum of thoughts?
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
So actually, for preparing for UPSC for long years, I can definitely say that it requires a lot of patience. And those who
Okay.
prepare for UPSC for long years, salute to them.
Okay.
But some people are not used to spending that many years.
Hmm.
So within a year or so, they start questioning their decisions which they took at the starting.
Okay.
So for them, they can have some exit options.
Hmm.
So there I got to know about RBI and NABARD. And yes, as you rightly asked, that was there any guiding force? My brother-in-law is actually in RBI,
Okay. Hmm.
so he basically told me to look for these exams.
Okay. Okay.
So I did not know much about NABARD,
Hmm.
but within NABARD, I realized that they also give a option of a specialist stream.
Hmm.
So it was a, I can say it was a big decision, but because it was easy for me to apply from the generalist stream.
Hmm.
However, I realized that the competition in the generalist stream is a bit more than the specialist stream.
Yeah, yeah, you are right. Huh.
Yeah. So, but the for the aspirants who are listening, I can say that if you want to apply from the specialist stream, then you should the decision should be solely based on whether your fundamentals are clear with respect to that specialist stream,
Okay.
because the interview and the phase two, it's the more weightage is on the specialization stream.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a great insight, Shantanu. Now, based on that, let us talk a bit more about your journey. So, what were the hardships during this entire 2.5 year struggle that you had made? I think almost it would be 3 years in next 2 3 months. So, what were your hardships, and how did you keep yourself motivated?
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
So, firstly, I won't call them hardships as say. I
Okay,
would say them as learnings in the process.
okay,
Because in my first year, I can remember when I gave UPSC. Along with that, I also gave a UPSC CAPF exam.
okay.
So I cleared the written stage of that exam, but
Hmm.
in the physical stage, when you have to run 100 meters, 800 meters,
Hmm.
I prepared 1 month for it as well.
Okay,
However, during the physical exam, I injured myself in the process and I got a hairline fracture as well.
okay.
So I realized that I should be picking exams which are more suitable to me. I
Hmm.
cannot give defense exams as well. I cannot give UPSC. I can't give regulatory body exams, banking exams. I
Okay.
can't be all over the place. I will
Yeah.
have to
Hmm.
pick and choose now
Hmm.
because as human beings, our energies are limited.
Yeah.
So we should pick and choose.
Hmm.
So with struggles, I can say that I prepared regularly for and rigorously for RBI, but
Okay. Hmm.
I was able to make more marks in the prelim stage. Like the cutoff was 63, I got 78, but
Hmm.
I missed the sectional cutoff in reasoning.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so like this, I was able to clear the IBPS PO as well.
Okay.
However, based on some talks with my seniors, I finally took a decision to not join it and again prepare for NABARD.
Okay.
So these were some of the struggles. I won't
Mm.
call them struggles again, but
Okay.
you need to be clear as to what you really want
Hmm.
and should not take a
Debate.
decision.
Hmm.
Yeah, should not take only a decision based on scenario that is there at that point of time. Just try to think 3 or 4 years down the line, or maybe 10 years down the line, where
Okay.
you want yourself. Yeah.
Okay. That's really deep insights, Shantanu. So now, I see that you have missed out in RBI and UPSC and other exams. So you cleared the entire final stage of IBPS PO. You had made it to the final list.
Yes, sir. I
Okay, and
made
you
it to
did
the
not
final.
join it. So,
Yes.
in your past 2.5 year journey, or maybe 3 year, so you faced multiple setbacks also, like RBI, UPSC, and other in the first attempt of NABARD. So, how did you bounce back from those failures? What kept you driving towards again going and attending the exam or preparing for it?
Yes, sir. So I can say that I was able to identify the gaps that were there at in my preparation. Like
Okay.
for example, in the NABARD,
Mm-hmm.
I was able to identify that I lacked at both the stages, the mains and the interview. Even
Okay.
though I was able to make it to the interview, I
Mm.
realized that there were areas where I can improve on, and similarly at the main stage as well.
Okay.
And for other exams also, the from the setbacks I used to, because I can say that these were the initial years. This
Okay.
won't be true for an individual who is 6 or 7 years down the line.
Okay.
He might answer this question better because he has the setbacks and the baggage of failure as well.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I can say because I was fresh and 1 or 2 years into the preparation,
Yeah. Yeah.
the motivation for me was to identify the gaps and work on them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
and.
also I can add here that
Mm-hmm.
the motivation factor also for me was that I
Mm-hmm.
decided that I will be giving only 1 or 2 more years into this for
Okay.
whatever exam. So
Okay.
it was like a deadline for me, like I will be quitting this in 2 or 3 years maybe.
Okay.
So I gave my wholehearted preparation to this.
Oh, that's really good. We so since you already touched upon that, so what was your plan B? Had you not made this, what were you thinking that post three,
Yeah.
2, 3 years down the line, what would be your plan?
Yeah, so basically it started with UPSC. Then I
Okay.
decided RBI, NABARD, and SEBI. But I realized that these are also as tough as the UPSC because the
Yeah.
vacancies are quite low.
Mm-hmm.
Then I also gave SSC, CGL, the banking exams, but I did not prepare for them as much as I prepared for these. But
Okay.
finally, as a fallback option, I decided that if nothing of this works out, I'll go for an MBA.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
The,
give CAT exam and I'll give go through one of the IIMs.
Okay, so you had a clear-cut vision of your entire career. That's really good. We can take a learning from all the aspirants can take learning from Mr. Shantanu on at this point. So the next question that I want to ask you is, tell me three things that really helped you achieve your goal of realizing your goal, such as maybe it could be your family, your you as you mentioned your brother-in-law. So tell us about those three important people who have really helped or shaped in realizing this dream.
So, so firstly, I can say without even thinking, it's the family, the
Okay.
close family, my father and mother.
Mm-hmm.
It also includes my brother-in-law here
Okay.
because thought that NABARD is not achievable for me, but he said that if you, he pinpointed me on what areas one needs to work on.
Okay.
Yeah, so this was one pillar. Then second, I can say I used to meditate. For
Okay.
the past 4 or 5 years, I have been practicing meditation, a guided
Okay.
meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So it has drastically improved my mental, I won't say capacity, but I try to be calm
Mm-hmm.
and try not to be influenced by decisions around me.
Okay.
So this is the second pillar.
Mm-hmm.
And the third thing, I can say consistency.
Okay.
I am that kind of a person like uh, I'll not stretch myself throughout a day.
Okay.
I'll just try to tick that one day and I'll chill out basically for the entire day.
Okay.
And I'll again come the next day. I'll just do the basic things on that day. I'll not try to stretch myself,
Okay.
but I'll not take a holiday as well.
Okay.
So consistency is one factor.
That's really good. So, Shantanu, like as you mentioned, you were preparing whole time. What was your study plan for the entire day? What was like time limit or maybe?
Yeah.
Hmm.
It was normal only, like 7 to 8 hours, I can say.
Okay.
But I used to make a point that it should not be below 5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, it was not study hours, and it was like I had a schedule. Like I woke up at 9.
Okay.
I would not used to start anything before 11.
Mm-hmm.
Then 11 to 1, I used to study.
Okay.
So there were some fixed timelines, but I not used to stretch myself within those timelines as well. If I don't feel like studying, I'll not study for that
Okay.
point of time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was not something very rigid. It was very flexible, I can say.
Okay. So during the entire preparation, what were your leisure activities? Obviously, when you were burnt out studying, what was the other activities that you engaged in?
Yes. So I used to go to a walk with my father every single day. Like I
Okay.
came from my college during COVID in
Mm-hmm.
March 2020.
Okay.
So it's now almost 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my father always have a walk every day after dinner.
Okay.
So it is quite refreshing. Means you are able to connect with a person who is not into this preparation, because normally what we do is we again call a friend who is preparing for this exam and
Yeah,
again
yeah,
discuss this exam.
exactly.
So I took these 30 minutes where no talk about any exam,
Mm-hmm.
and just normally we used to talk.
Oh,
And
that's
also I practiced meditation somewhat.
mm-hmm. That's really good, Shantanu. And so your hobbies are like I could say meditation and
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Okay. So how much time did you think is required for the preparation of the overall this examination?
Okay. So actually, there are two answers I can say. For a generalist, it is different, and for a
Okay.
specialist, it is different.
Mm-hmm.
So I can say for specialist, like if one is strong with his fundamentals, like there are some basic themes in the computer science stream, like
Okay.
networking, database management, normalization. Like
Mm-hmm.
those who are IT aspirants will understand these terms,
Okay.
what I'm saying. So if they have studied this during their college days,
Mm-hmm.
or after the college they have studied and they know the few basic things around this,
Mm-hmm.
then I can say that even after the prelims result also one can prepare for this exam.
Okay.
Like because prelims is same for the generalist and the specialist stream.
Mm-hmm.
However, after the prelim stage, there is about 1 month gap where one can just brush up the knowledge that one has
Mm-hmm.
for the IT stream, and 1 month would be enough, I can say.
Okay. 1 month, you mean for the IT stream?
Yeah, 1 month if the fundamentals are strong.
Okay.
If he has studied that during the graduation.
Okay, okay,
Else, else if one does not have any ground knowledge, then it might take even more than 6 months.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
So now, having understood that, I have interviewed other people also who have made it to the IT stream. There was one common issue with them that they found it very difficult to exactly decide what to prepare for this particular examination, as there was
Yes.
no material. Previous year question paper were the only guiding light for them. So how did you, decide amidst all that confusion or the?
Yeah.
Mm,
So actually, I can say that this is actually the reason why I decided to prepare for this stream,
okay.
because when you know what you want to study and there is a fixed source, everybody is following that source,
Mm-hmm.
then naturally the candidates will have to differentiate themselves because this is a competition.
Exactly.
So the specialist stream has a lot of uncertainty around it.
Mm-hmm.
So if
Okay.
you are ready to go that extra mile, just
Mm-hmm.
you take the syllabus, try to Google the few terms.
Mm-hmm.
So you are doing something which others are not doing.
Okay.
So you are naturally creating a distance from them.
Mm-hmm.
So this the uncertainty was the main reason, I can say.
Okay.
So how to tackle it? You can say that previous year's questions and syllabus can be the main source for this.
Okay. So that
But
was
here also, uh,
yeah, go ahead.
you yeah. So here also I can say that they are also not available readily. Like even the
Mm.
previous year's questions. So you can search for some Telegram groups. Like
Okay.
there is NABARD IT group on the Telegram. It has somewhat 300 members or so.
Okay.
So yeah, some candidates have posted PYQs which they gave last year or this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a very important learning that we take from Mr. Shantanu here, that an obstacle or a crisis, which is a crisis for others, has acted as an opportunity and a clear-cut opportunity that he would make it. So that's a deep insight, Shantanu. Now let us move, let us move from general discussion to like exam oriented quite a bit,
Yes.
so what was the source of your preparation for phase one? We'll be talking about phase one. Like there are 8 subjects, right? Hmm.
Yes, sir.
uh,
So for phase one, uh, there are quite a lot of subjects here,
yeah,
but they made qualifying, I think, the
yeah, yeah.
five
Okay,
subjects.
let me just
Yeah.
inform those five in the 8 sections. There are 8 sections in the phase one examination, friends, and there are 5 non-merit sections and 3 merit sections. The 5 non-merit sections are quantitative aptitude, reasoning, English, computer awareness, and the decision making. So these are the five non-merit section. We'll be discussing about them, Shantanu. So what was your plan for this non-merit section first?
So firstly, one needs to identify. Firstly, I can say the first step should be give a mock. Take
Okay.
any coaching institute's mock and just blindly give a mock without any preparation,
Mm-hmm.
and then try to see whether you are able to clear. So suppose there are the five sections are of 20 odd marks.
Mm-hmm.
So are you able to get 10 marks in each of the sections?
Okay.
So, or some sections you might not get 10 marks, they are
Mm-hmm.
difficult. But are you able to clear the sectional cutoffs? That
Mm-hmm.
must be the prime target for you for
Okay.
these non-merit sections. And you can just improve based on marks only. No need to go to some other book or so for specialized preparation for quant or reasoning.
Okay.
Mocks can be the sole source for preparation for these non-merit sections.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that was with regard to non-merit. In merit section, I guess in the phase one as well, you had 3 component. One is general awareness, one is IT stream, the other one is ESI, right?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
actually, in phase one also, IT
O-
stream is not there. The paper is same for all the streams. Like ARD is also there,
Okay.
ESI is there, and GA is there.
Oh, phase one is common, you mean, for all the stream, be it
Yes,
IT
yes,
stream, the finance stream, every.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
So GA, ESI, ARD. I guess
yes,
these subjects were new for you, especially the ARD. And
yes,
ESI, since you come from UPSC background, you might be familiar with it. So
yes,
how
sir.
did you prepare for all these 3 subjects?
Yes, sir. So actually, again, here are two different answers. Like
Mm.
for generally stream, one will have to dedicatedly prepare for these subjects
Okay.
because one can go and see the cutoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like the cutoffs for generally stream are quite high.
Okay.
However, if you see the cutoffs for the specialist stream for phase one, they are not much of an issue. Like one can easily clear the phase one cutoffs.
If you could just give the number, then our
Yeah.
viewers would be more having a clarity with regard to the cutoffs as well.
Yeah. So the cutoff for phase last year for
Okay.
phase one, it was around 55.
Okay, for general
51
stream.
or 50. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
53,
for
I guess.
53.
Mhm.
Actually, I cleared it from general stream because
Okay.
of you. I had 58 marks.
Okay.
But for specialist stream, the cutoff was 26 marks.
Okay, that is very
Yeah.
less. I
Yeah.
would almost say the half of the general cutoff.
Yeah, yeah. And even if you just solve the basic questions right and don't
Okay.
do silly mistakes,
Mhm.
you will be able to sail through. And provided you don't mess up in one of the sections in the the qualifying sections.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So,
phase one is not
mm,
a hurdle.
okay. I mean, like, what were your sources for preparation, even though it is just you
Yeah,
had
yeah,
a strategy?
yeah. So for ES, I can say like EduTap provides the summary sheets for
Okay.
ESI.
Mm-hmm.
During RBI, I followed them.
Okay.
So I had my ESI covered due to UPSC and these sheets.
Okay.
For ARD, I did not specifically prepare anything. Like I had prepared government schemes like Ministry of Rural Development.
Mm-hmm.
Because of UPSC preparation, I knew the type of soils that are there. So
Okay.
just based on general understanding, I was able to clear the ARD section. So no specific
Okay.
preparation for ARD.
Okay. So, what is the importance of mocks, to prepare for phase one? Within 2 hours, you are supposed to give the entire test.
Yeah,
So, tell us about the
yeah,
importance of mocks and how many mocks did you give?
yeah. So I gave around 3-4 marks.
Okay.
But if I was from generalist stream, I would have definitely given more
Okay.
because here in specialist stream, you just have to make sure that you are clearing the qualifying sectionals, and here you are getting comfortable marks like 35 or 40
Okay.
as such. So with respect to time management, I can say that it's not an issue. Means there is a lot of time
Mm-hmm.
because they have made the qualifying. If it was not qualifying, then you had to solve more number of questions.
Okay.
But here you just know that if you solve, say, 9 or 10 questions from the computer knowledge section, then you are good to go.
Okay.
So time is not a hurdle now in phase one.
Mhm.
Earlier it was, before
Okay.
2019 it was.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that was with regard to the phase one. And as you mentioned, the mock tests are good enough for your entire phase one preparation.
Hmm.
Okay. So now coming to the phase two, let me just before we proceed on to phase two, there are, like in the non-merit section, the subjects led decision making is completely new. So what advice would you, like to pass on to the future aspirants who are struggling in or who are not familiar with that subject?
Yeah. So for decision making, I can say that the questions, there was a drastic difference from the questions in the mock tests and those that were there in the actual exam. So
Okay.
there was some kind of panic among aspirants. But
Okay.
however, I can say that just try to read the options carefully
Okay.
in the actual exam.
Mm-hmm.
Within the 4 options, you are easily able to eliminate 1 or 2.
Okay.
And then I think comes common sense. Like just read the question carefully, and
Mm-hmm.
you will definitely arrive at an answer. And because it is qualifying in nature, you will definitely get 3 or 4 right. So
Okay.
just I would say for decision making
Hmm.
during the exam day, just try to think, just apply common sense, I can say.
Okay. And what were your sources for GA, general awareness?
For general awareness, I used to regularly read Indian Express.
Okay.
And for I think as NABARD came in July, I was reading. There is a magazine called Affairs Cloud.
Okay.
So I followed it for 1 or 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can follow it as well, friends. So
Yeah.
now that was what is the importance of revision, for this
Yeah.
entire phase one?
Yeah. Sir, I can say that revision was a major pillar in my preparation.
Okay.
So I made it a point that whatever comes within what I have read, I should be able to answer it in the exam.
Okay.
If something from outside what I have read comes, it's fine with me if I am not able to answer that.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, I got to know about 1 or 2 tools I would
Mhm.
like to suggest them as well.
Okay.
There is a revision tool called Anki, ANKI.
Okay. So friends, you can note it down, Anki. So what is it? Kindly elaborate as well.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So basically, it's a software
Hmm.
where it helps you to revise again and again. It will basically, when you first feed, suppose there is a scheme called of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana,
Okay.
and I'll feed that, I'll copy paste that data and paste on Anki,
Okay.
and I'll try to make fill in the blanks with the facts that I think will be asked in the exam.
Okay. Like you're
Then,
framing your own questions.
yeah,
Hmm.
but what Anki will do is it will ask me the answers, and if I think I was not able to recall the answer,
Okay.
then I'll press on the hard button.
Hmm.
Then Anki will give the spaced repetition. What we say that whenever we have listened many toppers, they say that revise everything one day, then weekly, then monthly.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So the main hurdle in revision is that there is friction within us. We are not able to pick that book again and study it.
Exactly. Hmm.
But what Anki does is it breaks that friction.
Okay.
It's a software. It will just tell you that 7 days are over now. You
Hmm.
tell me what is the answer of this.
Oh, that's
Because
really cool app. Huh?
yeah.
Hmm.
So again, if you say it's easy, then because you clicked easy, it will not you ask. It will not ask you again.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it basically takes care of your revision.
Okay. So, but you'll
Yeah.
have to put in a hard work,
Yes.
such as forming those questions
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
initially. Huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this was one tool. You mentioned there were two tools which helped you in revision. What was the other one?
The other one was also similar to Anki only. So I
Okay.
can say that just stick to one.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, friends, that's a really handy and cool app as suggested by Ms. Shantanu. Now
Yeah.
you can also use it for the entire revision, which is and which plays, revision is the hallmark of success, I would rather say.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Okay. So now coming to phase two preparation, Shantanu. So there were two papers. One is the English paper, descriptive English. The other one is the specialist stream. So
Yes.
firstly, we'll discuss about the English stream, English paper. That is, there were three sections, I guess: letter writing, the Pressy writing, and the comprehensive. And I guess Pressy was not there, right? Or
So
comprehension was not there.
I think
Essay
Pressy
writing.
was there.
Okay.
Comprehension was not there.
Okay. Essay, Pressy, and letter writing.
Yes.
So, what were your source of preparation for this, and how did you prepare?
Yes, sir. So there are some guidelines with respect to each of these. Like for
Okay.
letter writing, there is some fixed format for the formal letter.
Okay.
For Pressy, you need to know that you just cannot pick the sentence and just shorten it and paste it. You have to put it in your own words.
Okay.
So there are some guidelines which you can take from any of the YouTube videos. You can just type English
Okay.
descriptive, and for any of the even EduTap sir has given quite good insights on this.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So once you realize these basic ground rules for English,
Okay.
then the main thing is try to give mocks in the time limit,
Okay.
at least 2 to 3 mocks, I must say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this will definitely help you. And I
Okay.
would also
Mm.
like to add
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
in my previous attempt, I neglected English.
Mm-hmm.
So I got average marks.
Okay.
So this time I connected with one of the grade officers.
Okay.
He was also selected from IT stream, Anuj sir.
Okay.
So he suggested me that in these regulatory body exams, this English is the major deciding factor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mm.
if you just put some amount of effort, it will reap you many dividends.
Okay.
Yeah.
So kindly tell us what exactly did you change with regard to English paper in the first attempt and in second attempt? Also, what was the mark in your first attempt of NABARD in English paper?
Yeah. So I got 57.5.
Okay.
So it were not bad marks, but it
Mm.
were not good also. So
Okay.
average marks were around 57 only,
Okay.
but people also got around 65 marks.
Okay.
Yeah. So in these exams, this difference is quite huge.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
what exactly, did you make the changes in with respect to English paper
Yeah.
in order to score higher than the previous attempt mark?
Yeah. So actually, what happens is in English, each one of us has a fixed pattern of repeating mistakes,
Okay.
which we don't actually know.
Okay. Mm.
So what we can do is just write a content, so
Mhm.
suppose write an essay and paste it on Grammarly.
Okay.
It will pinpoint the mistakes that you make.
Okay.
And if you repeat this process for 2 to 3 times, you'll realize that you were thinking that you are spelling it correctly or
Mhm.
writing a particular grammar a certain way, but
Okay.
it was actually the wrong way.
Mhm. Okay.
So these were 2 3 things I understood. And then there are some grammatical errors you can't make, the
Okay.
punctuation errors.
Mhm.
So these play a significant role in these exams.
Okay. So you mean to say Grammarly has really helped you in
Yes, yes,
understanding your mistakes better and improving or improvising upon
yeah,
them.
yes, sir.
Okay. Apart from that, is there any other tool that you have used?
No, sir. That
Okay.
was one.
That was with so like for essay, with respect to letter writing and press, we discussed that there were certain guidelines that you had followed. What about with respect to essay?
So for essay, I can say content was sorted for me because of
Okay.
UPSC preparation.
Okay.
But there was no such hurdle for me in essay. I
Okay.
can say I
Mm-hmm.
practiced in the mocks,
Mm-hmm.
and I just got a I got an understanding that you can't use many difficult phrases and sentences
Okay. Keep it
because
simple. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So this is one insight I got,
Okay.
and yeah, Grammarly also focused on the mistakes, and this was it.
Okay. See, usually most of the examinations are conducted in pen and paper mode. This examination is held in online mode where you are supposed to type the entire content.
Yeah.
So, were there any hurdles that you faced in adapting with this new interface?
So the interface is, I can say, is not that quite good.
Mm-hmm.
So there are you have to scroll with the mouse only.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So it is, I can say, it might be somewhat difficult for someone who is facing it for the first time.
Okay.
But most of the aspirants who have seen it will not face the difficulty.
Okay.
Yeah, and one must practice typing as well.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, how many mock tests did you give for the English paper?
So I gave 2 mocks,
Two mocks.
1 or 2
Okay.
mocks. Yeah.
Okay. So, and
That too also I did not give full length. I just made sure that in within whatever time limit is there, am I able to complete the essay paper?
okay.
Yeah. So based on essay, I realized that yeah, I will be able to complete the paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just the essay component was written by you, and based on that, you estimated that you would be able to complete it.
Yes, sir. But
Okay.
I can say that I had experience of in the PO mains, you have to write the letter.
Okay.
So I would not suggest this to aspirants. Like they
Okay.
should practice it because
Okay.
I had performed it under pressure. In IBPS PO mains, I had a time limit. I did
Okay.
it there, so I knew that I would be able to perform again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, friends, I would like to inform to all our viewers that take all the suggestions with a certain filters because that might work. That has worked for Mr. Shantanu, but that might not work for you. So, you have to frame your strategy according to your which suits your strengths. So
Yes.
now coming to paper two, Shantanu, kindly discuss the entire strategy because I would advocate, I would request you that because most of the people they face a lot of uncertainty or there is a lot of confusion in the market with respect to IT stream.
Yes.
Maybe through this interview session you can also help them in the
Yes.
coming times.
Yes, sir. So firstly, NABARD has given the syllabus on their website.
Okay.
So stick to that syllabus, means that syllabus in itself is quite huge.
Okay.
So at least don't go beyond that. So first thing is that syllabus,
Okay.
and then what to study from that syllabus is, I will say that 50 marks is for descriptive and 50 marks is for objective.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I can say that I did terribly bad in objective this time
Okay.
also.
This time.
Yeah, so based on the answer key that I were there circulating, so I am getting almost close to 20-22 marks out of 50.
Okay. Uh-huh.
But last time I got around 34 marks.
Okay.
So, but last time I was not selected. This time, in spite I am getting 12 marks less, I am getting selected. So I
Okay.
think that descriptive is the major section where one needs to focus on,
Okay.
because there are very few things, I can say, like 30-35 broad topics
Mm-hmm.
which they have mentioned in the syllabus.
Okay.
and they'll ask straightforward questions. Like from 6 questions, 2 will be difficult,
Mm-hmm.
and anyways, you need to attempt only 4.
Okay. Out of
So
which two
just
are mandatory? Mm.
I think for generalist it was mandatory. For us, it was not mandatory. I think.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
sure also. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Uh-huh.
yeah. So focus on making some content for these themes. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was just to give example, like they asked what is internal and external fragmentation.
Okay.
What are the different types of normalization? Like they
Mm-hmm.
are basic questions in computer science.
Okay.
Like they are not asking a specific type of normalization and explain it. Like they asked in general stream, they
Mm-hmm.
asked what is Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
So they are not asking it here. They are asking just what is normalization and explain the basic types of normalization.
Okay.
So identify these 30-35 broad topics and make notes out of it,
Okay.
and just revise them again and again.
Okay.
And at
So,
the same
hmm.
time,
Hmm. Yeah.
don't neglect the phase one, the objective part as well, because many of my friends have 40 marks around in the objective part. They have also
Okay.
got selected.
Uh-huh.
So it's
Okay.
based on one's strength actually.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So,
Yeah.
Shantanu, like you said, identify those 30-35 areas out of the entire syllabus that has been mentioned or prescribed by NABARD. So, how does one identify those areas? Is it based on the PYQs, or how exactly does one
Yes.
identify those?
Yes. So actually, within the syllabus is hardly of one page, I can say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So mostly out of those 35, I can say 20 topics are just the syllabus strips only. Like they'll simply take the syllabus point and ask it. It's like that, as simple as that.
Okay.
But for other topics, you can have some websites. Like there is one website called Java T Point.
Okay.
Then there is another website called Geeks for Geeks.
Okay.
Then only if you go on Geeks for Geeks, you can just type important subjective questions. They
Okay.
have a separate interface for it. You can get them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, identification will be done using the PYQs, and the content for that will be specified on the websites that you have mentioned.
Yes. Yes.
Am I right? Huh.
Yes.
Okay.
And for
So, hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and for doing this process at the beginning, it will feel like I have to do a lot, but
Hmm.
actually it is not a lot.
Okay.
Means if you just start within 15 days, you will see that you have completed almost most of the broad topics.
Okay.
But the main thing comes if you must get at least bare minimum marks in the objective part.
Okay. Yeah. There is
Yeah,
separate cutoff, I guess. Huh.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, with that was with respect to phase two, paper two, right? So that so I guess you were able to manage the entire paper two preparation within that 1 month period, or had you started before the notification was out?
So actually, during my first attempt, I had prepared quite holistically for this phase two. Means after phase one only in those 1 or 2 months.
Okay. Okay. So you
So
had
this
prepared.
time, yeah. So this time my notes were prepared. So I had not prepared holistically again.
Okay.
Just had to revise. Like I said,
Okay.
just keep your sources limited and revise them again and again.
Okay. So that was with respect to phase two, friends. No, so once you cleared phase two, I think the feeling was the same as you had already cleared the phase two in the first attempt as well. So now let us talk about the interview preparation. So I
Yes,
think
sir.
was there any different approach that you applied in this interview preparation and in the first interview preparation?
Yes, sir. So actually, I can say that I
Okay.
prepared the most for the interview stage.
Okay.
Yeah. So when because I was expecting to clear the mains, but I knew that I had messed up in the objective.
Okay.
So I knew that I had to just means I have to give my all in the interview.
Okay.
So what I did was
Hmm.
I talked to few of my seniors, like
Okay.
what might have gone wrong in the last interview.
Mm-hmm.
So based on that, I got a few points,
Okay.
like maybe the maturity part was lacking, they said,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
because I got a uh, suggestion from one of my seniors that I might be boasting about myself
Okay.
in the introduction part.
Mm-hmm.
So I reduced on that.
Okay.
Then
So
in the
before proceeding, what was your interview mark in the last attempt?
35 out of 50.
Out of 50. Okay, this year the marks are not revealed. I guess definitely this time it will be higher than that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mm.
Sure.
Okay, so go on.
Uh, yeah, yeah. So I got a few suggestions. Also, I realized that the interview for the specialist stream focuses more on that specialization.
Okay.
So in the previous interview, I went with the assumption that since the panel member is the same throughout or
Mm-hmm.
all the streams, they would generally ask about the general things like what is self-help groups and stuff like that.
Okay.
However, I was taken by surprise in the first interview
Okay.
when they asked about specific terms in the IT field.
Okay.
So I realized that I had a gap to fill in my IT knowledge.
Okay.
So this time I solely focused on, I won't say solely, but my general part was done last year. I just revised that. But
Okay.
I gave special attention to my
I
DAF and
def.
IT related things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, the interview preparation comprises majorly of HR questions and the technical stuff. So
Yeah.
your HR preparation was already done, and how did you prepare for it? Mm.
So for HR, I can say the answers need to come out of you.
Okay.
And you can listen to others like what they answered, but try to put that answer on the paper,
Mm-hmm.
like what you are going to say on the interview day, and that should reflect actually what you want. Like
Mm-hmm.
the HR questions should be very straight through your heart.
Okay.
Yeah, you can stuff around with other questions, but in HR questions they should be very honest.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was with regard to HR and interview. You since you had a first-hand experience last time, so you knew what exactly to be done. Unlike others who are attending for the first time, you need not keep looking for the transcripts and try to figure out things.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that so you
So I
prepared.
would,
Yeah,
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 I'd like to add one thing here
yeah.
that for specialist stream, the transcripts come and mostly aspirants get frightened by looking at the transcripts
Okay.
because they are very diverse. There is no
Mm-hmm.
fixed pattern.
Okay.
Because the thing here is that mostly specialist stream interviews are conducted based on the profile of that candidate. Like if a
Okay.
candidate is working somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
then his interview will be very different.
Okay.
So don't get frightened by looking at the transcripts.
Okay.
Your interview will be 90% based on your DAF only.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, did the phase two preparation of your IT stream help in the interview as well, or was there any different approach to the interview preparation?
Uh, I can say that in interview there are sometimes very specific questions like technical questions like they ask what is SQA. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you have not heard about it, you'll have to say I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. So for these, you can look for some uh, means. I what I'm saying is there should not be a general question for which you are not able to answer.
Okay.
If they answer a technical question, you
Mm-hmm.
can obviously say no.
Okay. Okay.
Like for example, in IT, if they ask what is normalization,
Mm-hmm.
so if you say no here, then your marks will take a hit.
Okay.
But if they ask a specific type of normalization,
Mm-hmm.
you can say no. They might think that you don't remember the details, but
Okay.
you must know what is normalization.
Okay. So, did you prepare extra for interview, or was it enough the phase two knowledge?
So it's enough. Just I can say few things you can just Google here and there.
Okay.
10, 20, 30 questions you can prepare.
Okay. And the recent events that are happening, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now coming to your interview experience. So, how was the interview experience? Was the interview panel cordial enough, or did they grill you or something like that?
So it was quite cordial this time.
Okay.
However, last time I can say due to my lack of IT knowledge, I got stuck at one point of time. I was not stuck, but they realized that I lack in that part.
Okay.
So that part was exploited. I was able to answer other questions really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I got 35, but I had that gap.
Okay.
So
So,
this time the interview went quite well,
okay.
mostly on expected lines, I can say.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was solely based on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, solely based on that, and did you go through the transcripts of
Yes.
interviews? Okay.
Yes, sir. So The specialist streams interview are after the generalist interview.
Mm-hmm.
So you get 2 or 3 transcripts every day.
Okay.
So you just get an understanding of what they are tilting towards. So you can prepare somewhat. However,
Mm.
remember that your interview will be different and you should be open to surprises as well.
Okay. Mhm.
Mm.
So is it okay to say no to the questions, because this is a big question that is often coming from the aspirants? Mm.
Yeah. Sir, actually, I have a different answer to most of the toppers here.
Yeah, please
So,
go ahead. Huh? Mm.
what I think is if they ask you a question and you don't know anything about it,
Mm-hmm.
then you have to say, I don't know. But
Okay.
if you know even 10% of it,
Mm-hmm.
then you should ask them and try to uh, frame your answer towards it. Because
Okay.
what I think is the panel member would feel that the aspirant is trying to struggle and find a way to the answer.
Okay.
That
Mhm.
quality, I think the panel member would like.
Okay. So this draws me to another question. What, according to you, is the thing that is being looked by the panel in order to select a candidate or in order to award higher marks in the interview?
Yeah. So, firstly, I think for specialist stream,
Yeah.
I think the IT knowledge.
Okay.
And the second thing is clarity with which the candidate is able to convey what he wants to say.
Okay.
Because mostly we frame the answers and we say it, but they are not recepted well by the panel members. They don't understand what you are saying in the technical knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So
they must be able to understand that technical part. In simple terms, you can say them.
okay. So these two are very important. Having a sound knowledge of the your specialist stream and saying it with clarity and being able to convey it in a simple and concise, clear manner. Hmm.
Yes.
Okay, now tell me, what is the importance of the mock interviews? Had you given any mock interview this time, because you had already attended interview last time?
Yes, sir. So actually, last time I gave many mock interviews.
Okay.
But this time I decided only to give one mock interview and I chose EduTap for that,
Okay.
based on last year experience only.
Okay.
So this time the interview was conducted by EduTap and I realized that again there were few gaps.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so mock interview acts like a net practice for you.
Okay.
So there I realized that specific RBI and NABARD related digital initiatives are very important.
Okay.
I was kind of neglecting them.
Mm-hmm.
So those were the areas I realized that I need to focus on.
Okay.
Also, you get into that habit of speaking because you are an aspirant, full-time aspirant. You are just quiet all through the day and just studying.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
one fine day you have to speak, then you are not able to speak.
Okay,
So
okay.
mock interview helps you to break that inertia.
Okay, that's really deep insight. Good one.
Yeah.
Haha.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was with regard to the mock interview.
Yes.
Okay. So, friends, this was with regard to the journey of entire journey of Mr. Shantanu. So, Shantanu, would you like to tell any parting advice to all the aspirants who are preparing for this prestige examination in the upcoming times as well?
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
So I would say that try to keep things simple
Okay.
because in this is a competitive exam.
Hmm.
Mostly what happens is there is a term called complexity bias.
Okay.
Like all humans are biased towards complexity.
Hmm.
That is, they feel that if they are doing complex things, only then they will get the results.
Okay.
So everybody talks about the PYQs, the syllabus, and
Hmm.
then giving mocks. So these are some of the simple things which you need to repeat again and again.
Okay.
So try to avoid the complexity bias, I can say.
Okay.
And second thing is, I can say, don't compare yourself with your peers who are performing well in the corporate sector or somewhere else,
Okay. Hmm.
because you are on an uncertain path. So they are not on an uncertain path. They took the traditional way, right?
Hmm.
So don't compare yourself to them.
Okay.
Yeah, just give your best, and if you feel like quitting at some point of time, you can quit, because this is not the end, right?
Okay.
This is just one way to do something you like.
Okay. So
Yeah.
they were really great words from Mr. Shantanu, which will, I hope, inspire a lot of people who are preparing for this upcoming examination as well. So that's all we have in this particular session, friends. I hope you enjoyed watching this particular session. Thank you. And we congratulate you from EduTap and wish you a lot of success in the upcoming times as well.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nice talking.
Same here.